Hello, everybody. Surprise! It's Monday. We're doing this on Monday because, it was Easter break and, I wanted everybody to spend time with their family. I wanted to spend time with my family. And so, but there was so much fun stuff to talk about. If you consider losing 5 games in a row fun, but we've got that to talk about. And of course, I'm not going to wallow in this misery by myself. Everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Ed, is going to join me in this misery.
Oh man, yeah, the misery just does not end with us in every shape, every which way and form in my case, but um we're hanging in there. We've got a lot to talk about. Inter Miami keeps losing. Should we ask them for somebody's head? We'll be talking about that in a second.
We were talking about that a year ago, almost to the day, right? I mean, we were sitting around talking, and Ed's like finds this photo of what we were talking about this time last year. Same thing. So let's dig into that all this today, and then find out, talk about Ed might know a little bit about this new player coming in, and so lots of fun stuff to talk about. Before we do that, let's say a big thank you to Caneswear. And that's where you need to go to get all your Inter Miami gear. I was there not that long ago, and I bought some new gear, bought my wife a shirt, bought myself a hat. Lots of great stuff there. Go support a local business. They're located in Davie, Florida, just south of 595 on University Drive. Some of the coolest guys in town. Support them. And you want to support us? Support them. So go to Caneswear and get all your Inter Miami gear. Plus, Marlins are playing now. I've been watching a lot of Marlins baseball, Ed, because the T-Mobile. You know how T-Mobile gave the MLS season pass app to people? They did the same thing with a Major League Baseball app. And so I've been watching me some Marlins baseball as well. You can get a lot of Marlins baseball gear at Caneswear as well.
Of course, anything that's South Florida teams, you name it. Plus the Canes, who were recently, pretty, they were pretty famous for a little bit. They're always famous.
That was good for business for Caneswear. I'll tell you that.
I could imagine, but every South Florida team they support, and they've got stuff for. So you guys got to go check that out at Caneswear. Peter Brown.
Let's say hello to a few folks.
Yeah, there was somebody sports. I forgot the first guy I saw. Sports something was on there.
Sports shorts.
I think that was him.
Maybe he's saying go Marlins.
He was the first guy that was on there earlier. I actually responded to him, but for some reason his thing isn't coming out. But
he posted again.
I responded to him. Yeah. Roberto Rivadeneira is with us. He also gave me some hot news that I can't say too much about because he said it was between him and me. Mm-hmm. But I'll talk a little bit about something that he told me about.
All right.
We got B King. B King is also with us.
You're saying you can't fire the players. So what do you do then?
Oh, boy. Somebody's head. I think we're going to talk about that in a bit. Our good friend Eric Thomas. Eric Thomas, you got to move down here already, bud, and join us in our misery. Richard Greenberg. I don't know if he's probably still freezing up there.
Yeah, it's probably still cold. I would imagine.
Yeah. He needs to come down here and hang out with us for a bit. Andres Castañeda is also with us.
Fired Neville, he says.
He's all about that. Mm-hmm. He's on the let's cut his head already. Jonathan Carranza is also with us. What's up, Jonathan? Anthony Ornelas with us as well. Our good bud Patrick Barnhill. Yeah, Patrick, how you doing, man? Thanks.
Happy Easter.
Usually he catches us after, but I thought he wasn't at the team at the game, but he sent me a picture of himself there. So
okay,
all right, was good. Inter Miami, Costa Rica.
Wow, we're getting some people from Costa Rica. Nice.
Costa Rica, probably following Lassiter, I would imagine. And
Sports Shorts asks, Peter, was your brother at the game? Yeah, so I guess the good luck charm is worn off.
Yep, that didn't work. He's definitely not a bunny. Peter was rubbing his toes just to see if his feet just to see if he gets some luck out of there. But
I'm not touching anybody's feet. I'm not touching anybody's feet, man.
Yeah, we got Dupster also with us. He's all about He's all about the guillotine. You didn't see that the other one where he's talking about? Oh, that's
No.
Esteban Dito. Sorry about that. Esteban Dito is also with us, and he was the one talking
Chop the
about
head.
the guillotine.
Off with his head. Off with his head. That was the title of the show last year, where I created a graphic with Neville's head in the chopping block because
you forgot.
Well, that's what we used before. But Richard Greenberg saying things could be worse. Check out the disaster called LA Galaxy. Their supporters groups are boycotting their games. Yep, they are. At least our fans haven't turned their back on this team. Actually, we're getting some of the best crowds ever. Over 17,000 at the game. The stadium only holds 19, so that's a pretty packed house. So this year, it's been a solid packed house. But if they can't win, it's not going to continue.
I think a lot has to do with the rumors of the certain best player in the world coming over here. Also,
sure.
And also they started off really well. So I think that also made people think, oh, let's go check them out. They'll probably win the next game. Oh no, they'll win the next game. Well, so far that hasn't worked out so well. We've lost 2 more games at home. We've got those 2 that we won at home, and now we're going to go to Houston, and we're going to see how that's going to work out.
Yeah, and Houston hasn't lost a game there this year. No, I mean, not only that is nobody scored a goal on them in their home this year. So, but they've, from what I understand, they've been kind of up and down. I guess maybe not so great on the road. I haven't really paid that much attention to them, but I did hear that stat that they have not given up a goal in their stadium this year. So, Louis Rodriguez is checking in as well, saying they need to focus more on the infrastructure before signing big stars. So I don't know. I think the infrastructure of the team is pretty good. If you talk about infrastructure, talk about training staff and front office and things like that, I think they're doing pretty good there.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we talked about with Peter and Julio, who sits with us during the games, is that we think injuries has definitely hurt us, but also the fact that we're going after Messi.
Yeah,
to use Peter's words, that kind of hijacked us, right?
Yeah, it's like Messi is like kind of like holding us hostage because we can't make a decision until he makes a decision, and they're clearly going to go after him. Well, I mean, Louis Rodriguez is saying we shouldn't sign big stars right now. Focus on the infrastructure. Well, clearly the team's not going to listen because they want that big star, and the whole league wants that star. What's more aggravating is just that we can't make any moves until they make that move, and God forbid he doesn't sign with us because there's still a great chance that doesn't happen. And then what? Do they have a plan B? I sure hope so, because plan A should have been keep Pozuelo.
Yep. I'm about that one too. I think that's what's missing in the team right now. We're missing that 10 who's going to, pass those balls to Joseph, who's going to pass those balls to Campana. That's what we need, man. And I'm thinking, of course, a lot of people, they brought in Pizarro, who they thought was going to be a 10 for us. Well, he's the only one that's really creating any attacking, any attacking, effort, I guess you could say, because we got Stefanelli. I just don't think he's doing enough. He's up there. God bless him. He's trying, but he
works hard. 10. But I'm not sold on Stefanelli.
I still think Pizarro's better. I think they should bench Stefanelli, put Pizarro in there in the beginning, go with the 2 forwards. Joseph, I'm very disappointed with. He's just not. He's not doing anything. Peter was telling me, dude, he's just standing out there.
He doesn't move. And the way I was watching, I focused on him a little bit more on Saturday. And I just felt like there's no movement. He just stands there waiting for the ball. And then he had a couple of chances to either take a shot or make a pass, and they were all bad. Andreas Castaneda says, Pizarro, really? What attacking effort?
Well, he had a couple of shots. Of course, he shouldn't be the one taking the shots. I think he should be the one passing the ball to whoever's out, whoever the forwards are, because I think that. But he got substituted for Campana. Got substituted for him. I just think also, the coach is not playing the players in the right place. We were talking, for example, I think Duke is definitely not in the right place.
And that was interesting because I saw the coach interviewed, press game or midweek something, conference. And I'm hearing a feedback. Hopefully you guys aren't hearing a feedback. I'm hearing my voice come back at me a little bit. Hopefully this sounds okay today.
No.
I was having a few technical difficulties before the show. Hopefully it sounds okay for you guys. But the coach basically pulled Bryce Duke aside and said, if you want to have a long career here, you're going to have to learn another position, because in his opinion, this club is going to always go after a DP at number 10. So Neville feels like we're always going to go after a DP at number 10. So Duke, if you want to have a career here, you got to learn another position. We believe you can do it. So we are watching Bryce Duke learn on the job. He's a creative player. And when he comes in off the bench, like last year, when he was coming in off the bench, man, he was a spark. Right. But they're not playing him in his right position, but it is what it is. But
and I think we all agreed during the game that was happening, that he just wasn't in the right spot. We also agreed that we thought that Pizarro should have been in there.
The general theme of the show is, we were talking about Everybody Hates Neville, which thanks to Eric for that show title. If you guys got a show title and you have an idea, throw it to us. We're always looking for one. And I had fun with that, looking for the Everybody Hates Chris logo and just making my own spin on it. But that goes back to coaching then, putting players in the wrong position. And Neville has done that a lot through his time here, putting people in maybe the questionable positions. So you could definitely blame him for that. I saw somebody in the chat saying you can't blame the forwards because we don't have a number 10. They're not getting him the ball. I mean, for the most part, I agree. But when you see like no movement from Joseph, I get frustrated with him. I mean, there's nothing.
Well, and what's possession without any shots, man? I mean, we had possession, and that was it.
Right. So the one thing I thought was interesting is that in the post-game conference, Neville did say, basically, I had the quote somewhere, but again, I got a little messed up just before doing the show. But the quote said something to the effect that players aren't performing and, changes will be made. I mean, I'm summing up the general idea of what he said. The basic concept was, people are going to sit. And the question was basically posed more about Joseph. And so I would not be surprised and when we're traveling up to Houston to see Joseph playing off the bench and maybe seeing Borgelin come in and starting. How about that? Borgelin and Campana playing up top with, doing the same kind of thing he did with Higuain, teaching him a lesson kind of thing, get with the program or sit on the bench.
Yeah. Right. I kind of agree with you, and I wouldn't mind having two big guys up front. That would be kind of exciting to watch, man.
Yeah. So, hey, also 786-474-4435 if you want to leave some voicemails. We've got 2, so we should probably get to those fairly soon. But so when we're all talking about the blaming the coach, and that's the thing is when I'm reading the internet and the internet is on fire Neville, that's all anybody says. And while I was watching what I thought might have been the worst first half this team may have ever played, it was bad. I'm starting to think the same thing. I'm starting to think we've got good players. I think we have some good players. I feel like these are the kind of players we send to another team and they do well. Like, that's usually what happens, right?
Right.
And so I feel like we do have some good players. Are they all the best players? Maybe not. But I think we have something good there. So then, you blame the coach. But then when we talk about Stefanelli, maybe he's not the right pick. We talk about how short the team is. Last week, I was talking about how short the team is. Chris Henderson can't come out of this without any jabs or anything on him. I mean, he's got to take some blame for this as well.
Right. But I don't know, man. It's just we the way we were talking about it. I think also one of the players that kind of disappeared, Negri. I didn't see him as active as he was the game before.
But Negri also, he loves to get into the attack, and this is again probably coaching. Him and Yedlin both get into the attack so much, which then are leaving us exposed. They can't get back fast enough. It leaves big spaces open for people to come down the flanks, and they're tracking back. And then you've got Christopher McVeigh trying to kind of cover two spots, and he's not doing the best job at doing that. So, I mean, I think we saw that a lot with, like, say, Yedlin going up and Negri. They like to go up. And I agree, Negri didn't have as good of a game.
Right. And just off the top of my head, I mean, I can't, Eric Thomas is talking about it too, about how we need Pozuelo. We should have just, I think, signed him and then, gotten rid of, I don't know, somebody, we could have bought out Gregory's DP. We could have,
Pizarro,
Pizarro, gotten rid of Pizarro at the end.
Because
just open up space.
You and I both have been happy with the way Pizarro is playing. I know it's kind of people will call us idiots for liking what we've seen out of him. He's really good with the ball at his feet. Does he hold on to it too long? Sure. But at the same time, who would you rather have, Pozuelo or Pizarro? Buy out Pizarro, get rid of him, and right. Should have
and bringing Messi. I mean, there were ways to fix it. What was that?
Sports Short says you two would be better coaches. I don't think so. I'm not. You'll notice. You'll notice on this show we don't get too deep on the tactics because, man, I'm just a fan, and I'll miss stuff all the time. I don't claim. Here's one of the things I hate about our. As I'm reading the internet, I hate people on the internet like this. And some of you in our chat may be like this. I don't know. But when people on the internet are like, well, if you don't agree with me, you don't know football. You don't know football. Because you don't agree with me, you don't know what you're talking about. I know football. I know all the facts. I know everything. You know what I will sit here and tell you? I don't know anything. I'm just a fan that wants my team to win. And, I have a little knowledge, but I'm not a know-it-all like some of these, keyboard commandos there. But
keyboard coaches. Yeah, we're
keyboard coaches. Exactly.
We know our place. We're just fans, and we got our opinions. And if you guys don't like our opinions, that's your opinion.
So funny story is, I don't know if I told you this, Ed. I was talking about this with my brother and Julio before the game. I'm not sure if you were there yet, but I saw Phil Neville come into the stadium. Did you hear me?
Yeah. You talked about it, yeah.
And it was just so funny because I'm walking I'm walking over to the west side to go into the store just because I'm there early. It kills some time, and he's walked in through the couple double gates, and he walks in with a purpose. Like, I probably could have stopped him for a selfie or something like that, but he's not. It's almost like he's walking so fast. He's trying to he doesn't want people to stop him, but in that moment, you've got that chance. You got that chance to say anything you want to the coach.
Right.
And what do I say? Hi, hey. Phil. Hi, Phil.
Did he wave back at you at least?
He smiled. And I'm just, hi, Phil.
I could have seen you too do that.
I was such a fangirl. I was such I
probably would have been doing the same thing.
Yeah,
I would have gone for the picture though.
Well, that's what I should have done afterwards. But because that would have been our thumbnail today. But I'm not going to be the one guy that sits there and I've got it could go, it could go along with, if he gets fired, it could go along with the other photo I got with Tubby. There's that Tubby and me photo that I got
right.
of people that are no longer with the club. But I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to sit there and yell at him and tell him anything before the game and all that kind of stuff.
I love what Doofster's saying. He accidentally called him
Gary. I accidentally called him Gary, and he still took a picture with me. Hey, Gary.
How you doing? That's even worse than Peter Brown.
I felt like such a like a goof when I did that. I was just, hi, Phil.
What's your brother saying?
Nothing. He just made fun of me after when you guys were there.
Oh, okay. I thought he actually made fun of you there.
Nah.
I'm surprised you guys didn't stop. I would have stopped him. I would have been, Phil, hold your horses, dude.
He's walking fast. He's walking with a purpose.
Oh, I would have stopped him. There would have been nothing stopping me, I tell you. But Beckham also. One of the things, because Richard Greenberg just put something about Beckham, he did not move from the same spot, and Peter pointed it out, and I have a picture of it too. I don't know.
Has David Beckham been at the home games? I had said to you, because Ed, so there's seats that are like right on the pitch, and he doesn't sit in the seat, and he doesn't stand really either. He sits probably fairly uncomfortably, I would imagine, on the armrest. He sits on an armrest.
And we've noticed that every game here, he basically does it. Yeah.
Every game that he shows up, that's where he sits. And that's what I said. If they ever make a statue of David Beckham here in South Florida, it should be him sitting on the armrest of a chair. Because
they should make it. They should maybe modify that armrest so it could be like a seat. Just for him.
Put at least like
a flap.
At least put like a nice, comfy bicycle seat on there. And give him a horn, too, so he could beep at Phil. Wah, wah.
Beep, beep. Yeah. Dude, you're my bud and all, but, What happened? Something happened.
That's what I was looking for. That.
I was looking. Oh, wow.
I was like, I want Phil to sit on his bicycle seat. I'm sorry, David sit on his bicycle seat and just... at David.
I don't know, man. I don't know how much influence David has. I'm sure he's probably. I mean, he's got more experience at soccer than we do, obviously. Does he talk to Phil and say, Phil?
That's what I was wondering. What's that conversation like?
Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? I mean, does he do that? I would love to be in that conversation. Listen in to see what he says, or does he stay quiet and let Phil do his thing?
He better not stay quiet. He's supposed to be our vice president, director of soccer operations, whatever. I mean, it's just a title. He doesn't do anything. But,
he just shows up.
He's a figurehead. That's all he is. But I would hope, that's his boy. I would hope he pulls him to the side. And even if it's, hey, I still believe in you, but it's like, but there's got to be some critical conversations. Right. I wonder, I at one point in the game, Jorge Mas got up and he walked over to David and he was talking in David's ear a little bit. And I was just kind of goofing off with Julio and just doing my impression of what Jorge is saying to him. And, something to the effect of what the hell's going on? What's your boy doing here? What the hell? What am I paying for? All this.
I'm ready to get rid of this guy. I know he's your bud and all. I know you guys are tight, but but bro, what's up?
David's not going to be the one that does that dirty job. Whenever it's time to get rid of Phil, it'll end up having to be Chris Henderson.
Oh,
or Jorge Mas.
Probably, yeah. It'd probably be Jorge.
Yeah.
Why don't you come up to my office real quick?
David will be conveniently off. Filming a cologne commercial or something,
or taking did you see him taking
dancing lessons?
Classes?
Yes,
yeah, dude, he was making those moves. When I saw him, I thought about Peter Brown, dancing that samba music with his wife. his wife's Brazilian, so you should take some classes, Peter. I mean, if David Beckham could do it.
Dude, you should see my wife make fun of my dance because I don't dance. I basically just do like a little head nod and one foot just kind of doing this.
Oh, come on, Peter. You could dance if you want to.
I can't dance if I want to.
You can move your hands around.
I'm no friend of yours. You can dance. You can dance. I know the song.
You're no friend of mine. Yeah, there you go.
No, you don't want. I am the whitest of white, and I found the one and only Brazilian woman that doesn't dance. I found her.
Wow.
The one and only.
Really hard. Well, Peter, I've seen you do a mean robot. I've seen
no, you haven't. No, you haven't. Hey, let's get off the topic of me dancing. Let's listen to a couple voicemails, Ed.
It's time
Let's do it
for your voicemail.
Hello.
What's up, mi gente? It's your boy Yankee. Hey, I gotta first tell all of y'all. Remember when I said a few weeks ago, glass half empty, glass half full? Your glass got some holes in it. It's starting to leak.
Some holes.
Now, I know that it's only been a few weeks, but the reality is you guys can't seem to buy a goal. Your coach changes the formation. Makes complete sense to me. We're going to keep pushing forward. I understand it's the first time that Luz Guy Campana is there. I understand that he's playing alongside of Martinez, of the Venezolano. I get it, right? So I understand it's the first time you're doing that particular look, that particular combination. But the reality is, at this point, 2, 3 more maybe matches, if y'all were to lose, and it doesn't matter if they're 1-0 and it doesn't matter if they're 3-0, it's going to get to be a point where it's easier to replace a coach than it is a bunch of players, as we all know. And the last thing I want to toss to you is, I'm not saying it's all on Phil Neville, but when your team's losing, maybe you shouldn't be playing your kid. Now, maybe he will turn out to be the English equivalency of Michael Bradley, and it'll be a situation where people say, oh, the coach is just playing his kid, and the kid turns out to be an amazing footballer. But why would you even put your kid in that position? Especially when your team needs a goal. Why are you going to go switch out with the defender?
That was a weird change.
Y'all got more questions than answers, and yeah, that ship is taking on water. Holler at you later, players.
What do you think about Phil Neville Jr. coming in?
Oh man, I was scratching my head. I was like, give the guy some minutes. I think he's a decent player, but I don't know if that was the change that we needed. I don't think he really contributed in any way to. We should have been urgently looking for that time. So I would have sacrificed a forward, moved the guys over a bit. Not a forward, a defender. I would have sacrificed a defender and put in another forward playing or midfield player to try to fill up, try to attack a little bit more. So I just don't agree with that. Dude, I'm not a coach, but, if I could realize that that's not a good, change and everybody else is realizing it, maybe there's something there.
And I know we've been complaining amongst ourselves when we're watching the game that in several games now, he pulls out Pizarro when he was one of the better players in the field. So some of the coaching decisions just in general have been a little bit off. I was reading the Athletic today, and in this article they have a lot of topics, but one of the things is managers on the hot seat. Here we are just, 7 games in, who's on the hot seat? First up, they had Hernan Losada, who's the coach for Montreal, who took over a good team for Montreal. They lost some players, but still took over a good team. Greg Vanny is on the hot seat, and they also listed our very own Phil Neville. Phil Neville, the quote from Phil that I was trying to find earlier, where he says, "We probably should have been." This is what Phil said after the game. We probably should have been 3 down at halftime, and to Los de West Palm Beach, he's saying we need to give calendar, his flowers, what a beast. Definitely on top of his games. And that's exactly what this is saying. We should have been down 3-0 at least in the first half if it wasn't for Calendar, who made Team of the Week. But Neville continued on saying, we've got some players that are comfortable, and from now on, those players won't be comfortable anymore because they're not playing to the levels I expect. And we've got the players that have not had opportunities that I think now deserve an opportunity. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll see that. So we're going to see them play youngsters, is what this, I think, I'm reading. And it sounds like Joseph is going to sit. Another thing he said in the post-game conference that I did appreciate, though, is because somebody basically said, Phil, who ultimately takes responsibility for this? And Phil, he's not making excuses. He said, I do. He says, at the end of the day, it's his fault. And I can respect that. That's what the thing that's hard with Phil, to me. He's so damn likable. I like Phil a lot. Mm-hmm. And
you want him to stay.
I want him to stay. I want him to succeed, especially when you see. So last year, we were in a similar position. We had lost 6 games in a row. But if I remember correctly, the correction for that wasn't any great coaching move. It was bringing in Pozuelo, which it always comes back to Pozuelo right now.
It's because we missed the guy. I mean, the dude was a superstar, and I think if he would have been on the team right now, things would have been a lot different. Maybe Joseph would have been scoring. I don't know. Do we get going on a segue? Is Robinson ready? Is Mr. Glass ready?
Man, we're never going to see him again. I don't think so. I don't know. We'll never see him again. The next time we see Robbie Robinson, it'll be on another team scoring against us because he'll magically be healthy somewhere else.
Better, yeah, and he'll
just
never
the way
have
it
a problem
works.
with them.
Just the way it works.
Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah.
Bruno is saying we just need to score goals. That's it. If Leo, I'm assuming Campana can't do it, then we should find a new number 9. Well, calm down on Campana. He just had one game. And the one thing with Campana that I did notice in previous years, when he's not getting the ball, he will come back to get to the midfield to get the ball. He didn't do that. I don't know if that's because he's still not really 100% fit, but let's give him
give the guy a chance.
Andres Castaneda brings up a good point too, is that we keep downplaying how much Gregory did for this club. Yeah, I mean, it's no coincidence, right, that we start losing once Gregory gets hurt. However, he is not the solution to scoring goals, though. He did help with a little bit of offense, but he's a good captain. He keeps the glue of the team. He would have broken up a lot of the plays in the midfield.
Yeah.
But he's not going to make Joseph score goals.
No, but he was recovering a lot of balls. He would help us. He would have definitely helped us with the possession.
He would have helped a lot.
The distribution. The ball. I mean, we were a lot better with him than we are without him. We've got that new player that's coming in, Dixon Arroyo, who's an all Ecuadorian like I am.
So, talk about him for a minute. Somebody else was asking in the chat. So this is a guy that's gonna be the replacement for Gregory, at least for the short term. I mean, there's the rumors signing a 1-year contract with a 1-year option. What do you know about this Ecuadorian, which is from what I believe is your favorite club in Ecuador, Emelec? I always hear you talking so much about how much you love them.
Actually, he's from the team that is the arch enemy of my team. I'm a fan of Barcelona of Guayaquil, Ecuador. That's the most popular team in Ecuador, and then the second most.
Oh, I was confusing you with Ricky.
Is Emelec? Yeah, Ricky. But Peter knows about our rivalry between Ricky, Ricardo, and myself. Ricky was an Emelec fan, and this guy is a player that used to play with Emelec. He was their captain. A pretty solid player. He's played with the national team a bit. He wasn't called up recently because the players that are playing his position, he plays like a number 5. The ones that are taking up his spot in the national team all play in Europe. So, no space for him because of that. But he's definitely the best number 5 in Ecuador as of this moment. And rumor has it that Emelec, didn't have enough money to pay for him. So that's the reason why he's going out. That's what they're saying or what he's saying. But where there are other conflicting things that he just looked for an excuse to get out. He had this opportunity with Inter Miami, and I think that was his ticket to get out of his contract and sign with Inter Miami. I think he's going to be a decent, I don't know if he's a replacement. I don't know if he's going to be able to fill in that position as well as Gregory did, but I think he's a good enough player. I mean, he's the best in Ecuador in that position, playing inside of Ecuador. So he's been capped, and let's cross our fingers that he'll do enough. I'm hearing that he's not too good up in the air, but he's good at distribution and good at recovering the ball. And there's some videos out there. We put up a video on our Twitter, I think. You guys can go check that out. You can see him cutting, some of the play. So I think crossing our fingers that, everything's going to be. And I like Esteban Dito saying Emelec is the Real Madrid of Ecuador. No, I would say.
I was waiting for you to pause just so I could pull that up.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know about that. There's no Real Madrid, I'll tell you that much. Especially not this year. But I'm sure Ricky's eventually going to listen to this and he's going to be like, grande el Barcelona de Guayaquil, of course. And well, anyways, guys, I think he's a decent enough player. Hopefully he's going to be on fire and he's going to, help us out. Is he as good as Gregory? I don't know, man. It's good. It's tough to see, but hopefully he'll do something where, he'll be good enough.
But is he better than Duke, which is what Tank is asking? And I would think probably yes.
But the thing is, Duke, that's not Duke's position.
And that's why. I'm a huge Duke fan. I considered getting him on the back of my jersey, but not because I like him as a defensive midfielder, because I like him as an attacking midfielder.
Right.
I think I don't agree with Phil in that that's his only position. That's the only opportunity that he's going to have.
Right.
So,
and I agree with you. I think he should be. I mean, if you're going to give the guy an opportunity, give the guy the opportunity in that spot, in his spot, because that's where he was shining. And I think he could still, God, dude, we don't have a number 10. Give the guy an opportunity. Let him play one game like that and see what he does.
Yeah, because, why would they sign him to a new contract? Why would you sign him to a new contract if you just envision converting him to a defensive midfielder that's not his position? That doesn't, because that's a position he's going to have to learn. That doesn't necessarily, to me, get a new contract. And you're rewarding him with a new contract because you like what he's done, and what he's done is creative, not defensive.
Right.
So, anyways, all right, let's get to another voicemail here. Again, if you want to leave us one and you want to join in, you want to rant, you want to rave, 786-474-4435, and here we go.
What's up, Peter Uncle? It is Jonathan Carranza. So basically, Miami's in a slump right now. And I don't know if it's the fourth or fifth game losing streak, but it's looking pretty ugly with Martinez not having a shot on goal, Campana coming back not having a shot on goal, the midfield looking lost, the defense getting ran over mostly every game. I don't know, guys. I mean, now it's looking like they need to change something with the coaching staff. That I don't know if it has to go to firing Neville or finding a new manager, but it's looking pretty ugly. And I just wanted to just hear your take on whether it's the team that's struggling or the coach that's struggling. Because overall, I think that the coach is what makes the team, and that if we need a good manager to be able to mold the team together to see a better performing team. I just want to hear your guys' take. Thank you.
So I think, because everything that we've heard, all the successes that we've heard about from Phil or whatever, the things that he's done the best is the team camaraderie. They're all in it. They believe together. They must have the whole Ted Lasso thing, believe that they hit every game or something. He's been very big into the culture of the team. And I think he's done a good job. This team doesn't quit. They fight for each other. And those are his successes. To me, those are qualities that you might want for your assistant coach. He might be a better assistant coach. The assistant coach can help, get the whole, I mean, the coach sets the culture, right? But then he's down there with the players on the day to day, working on the camaraderie and play the basketball game, play the ping pong games. Let's all, go out to team dinners and all that kind of stuff. And all that stuff matters, but maybe not so much the head coach. And we knew when he got this job that he was also kind of like Bryce Duke, learning on the job. He had never head coached a men's professional team. He's assistant coached quite a bit and did the women's national team for England, which is different. So right. I'm leaning towards we can't fire all the players every year because now, again, this is 3 years. He is his team. Yes, he's coaching under a sanction. And actually, interesting thing, Ed, is we were always one of the higher payroll teams. I was Googling out of curiosity because I saw somebody make a comment online. So I went and Googled. We're one of the lower payroll teams this year.
Wow.
You get rid of a contract like Higuain and Matuidi and things like that, and all of a sudden, we're one of the lower payroll teams. Obviously, they're clearing cap space for Messi, maybe Busquets, all that kind of stuff. But so he maybe is not getting to coach with the full arsenal, but I think we have a better team than what the results show. So right. I guess long story to say, it's probably the coach.
Yeah, and I've seen on Twitter somebody, I forgot who it was, and I'm sorry I forgot who it was, but I saw him put a picture of Federico Higuain. It's time to give him a chance to coach. What do you think about Federico?
Nah, he also would be learning on the job. He's a great player, but let him learn on the job with the 2 team. Let him do what he's doing. Let him do that for a few years, and right. and then maybe. Yeah, then maybe.
Don't jump
but I don't want another learning on the job coach. So that's just who's available. Who would you guys? Tell us in the chat. Who would you want? The one name I thought of because I didn't Tata Martino get fired from Mexico or left Mexico. I think he's available.
I think he left. I'm not sure. If you guys know, go ahead and put it in the chat. But look, Jason Kreis. That's another. That's definitely what Richard Greenberg saying. Jason Kreis. Yes, he was a coach. Now he's,
he had success once with one team, Real Salt Lake, failed 2 other places. So I don't know. I would love to. Here's the thing: is if you got rid of Neville and you put Jason Kreis in as your temporary coach, I think you're the same. You're not. You're no worse. Let's put it that way. I think you're no worse.
Right. And look, Jay Vasquez is saying, no, who was it? Juan Rodriguez is saying Tata's going to Boca. I don't think he's signed yet because I think I would have heard about it.
Oh, okay.
That's the rumor.
So I like the idea. If we were going to fire, he's the kind of guy I would like because I'm a firm believer in having a coach that has MLS experience. I think MLS is different. And when they bring in a coach from outside the league, they sometimes struggle. Not always. There has been successes, but they sometimes struggle. And so since he, has MLS experience and, I like the idea. Christopher Harris checking in.
I was going to say about him, yeah.
The coach isn't the problem. The gaffer here. We don't have any depth in this squad. None of the substitutes fills me with any confidence. What do you guys think of that? Coach is not the problem. Is this just one Brit experience? Is this just one Brit standing up for another?
Oh, nice. But the gaffer's definitely got. I mean, if there's somebody who could, who's definitely got more experience than us, it's the gaffer. Man.
Oh, sure, he knows what he's talking about. But I just wonder, is there some Brit love there? Maybe
there could be. Maybe some hidden love affair there. But we don't want to say anything. I mean, I don't know, man. Could he be right that our bench right now is kind of weak?
Yeah, and if we, if what I, the little bit of Google research I did, if we are if we are indeed as low in the payroll as what I think I saw, if what I read was accurate, then clearly they could have put more money into making a better team to make more depth and things like that, and they haven't. So, their depth is bringing up Inter Miami 2 players, which there's a huge risk there, and.
Right, but you know what? They're saving up that money for that one dude that you and I know and everybody knows we want. Making up that room, waiting for that, for that big spending, because that's going to be huge. Spending. Yeah, I hope it works out, but I don't know, man. And
Bruno says, Lassiter needs to start a match on the right to add speed and strength to our attack. Yeah, Hey, at this point, change.
Yeah,
give him a shot.
Okay. He is fast. He's getting up there in the age, but I think he's still got some gas in that tank. So give him a chance. Some gas in that tank. You get it?
Richard Greenberg up in Toronto says, since there's no game next week, does this show become a Miami FC episode? Good. Speaking about that, Inter Miami's going to face Miami FC in the U.S. Open Cup in like 2 weeks, I think it is. I forgot the exact date.
Mm-hmm.
I could look it up, but
towards the end of the month. But that should be interesting, man. How I haven't unfortunately been following Miami FC too much.
Oh, they're not bad,
Peter.
They're not bad.
They're doing good, and they're always a good team. They're always up there. They definitely are. Not afraid to put money there. Are people showing up to the stadium though, Peter?
No, you crazy. Nobody's showing up at that stadium. No. That's the thing that shocks me about Miami FC is that Ricardo Silva keeps putting money into the team, and nobody.
It's a labor of love, I think.
Nobody shows up.
Yeah. He just loves to be there. There you go.
Wednesday, April 26th, 7:30 p.m. Inter Miami will face Miami FC. And last year we played them. If I remember correctly, the game might have been like 1-0 or something like that. Wasn't any great convincing win there.
Right.
And that's what Bruno is saying here. Do we even best Miami FC in their turf? It was a close match last season.
Yeah, it was. I think we won 1-0.
I think that's what it was.
It was there. Did you go to the game? I don't remember.
I did.
I was able to go.
I did, and I plan on going to the game this year as well. Trying to load the standings here. So Miami FC is currently sitting in 10th place. So with 1 win, 4 losses. So yeah, they're not doing. Oh no, I'm sorry. I was looking at Detroit. They have 0 wins, 3 ties, 2 losses. They're having similar problems, I guess. It's a Miami thing.
Yeah, it is a Miami thing. They played, I think, Tampa. Did you mention that? I think it was they played Tampa this weekend. I'm not sure if they won.
I don't know.
See that result?
I'm floating around their website right now, but looks like tickets might be around Miami Classico, which is what they call when we play them. It says $15, so nice cheap tickets.
Well, I think they're looking to fill up those stands. It's probably going to be at their home. They're going to be playing at home. With a big pro Inter Miami showing,
yeah, just like it was last year.
Yeah.
So Miami FC falls to Tampa Bay Rowdies 2-0, but looks to bounce back against Detroit City FC in the next game. Esteban Dito saying, the way Inter Miami is playing, let's not be surprised if Miami FC dethrones them this time.
I don't know about that. If what Peter's saying is true, it doesn't look like they're doing too well also, so it should be an interesting game.
Even
sure.
it should be two bad teams playing each other.
But the thing is, Neville's probably going to concentrate on. He's probably going to put some of the substitutes in to that game, which gives I'm sorry, Miami FC is probably going to play with all their starters because they want to win that game. So that's probably going to be the difference right there.
Sure. Somebody was asking the question about the Open Cup, if it's on TV. It will be streamed live. The 2023 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup will be streamed live for free to a worldwide audience on the Bleacher Report app and Bleacher Report Football YouTube channel. So I guess we go look for it on the Bleacher Report YouTube channel if you can't make it to the game.
All right, I guess yeah, because it's not going to be on Apple TV. So
no, that's it's not an MLS product, so it's not going to be on the Apple TV thing. Hey, there was an interesting thing is I also read that there was a big owners meeting recently, I think last week at the Apple campus in, I think it's Cupertino, and a lot of the MLS owners went there. They sat there and they hung out with Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple. Adidas was there as well. Basically, there was a report that Apple was not happy with the amount of subscriptions. According to this, and this came from The Athletic. According to this, they said actually no, they are happy with the way it's projecting, the way it's moving. It had such a short ramp up that so far with what they've seen, they're happy. I'm sure they also in that long 8-hour meeting or whatever came up with some ideas on to make it better. So one of the things I would like to see on that Apple TV, I know I went off on a tangent, but is more like magazine style type of stories on a player, like a magazine style show. And I know they've had these kind of shows on EPL and things like that where you find an interesting story and you tell 3 or 4 of them in a 30-minute show or something like that. Beyond the pitch type of stories. They need to do that.
Kind of to make people interested during the week or something, right?
Yeah.
To tune into them. Because, I totally forget. I mean, the thing is a lot of the games right now are at 7:30. So, I'd love to watch more games, but there aren't that many more games, at different times. So by the time I get home, if I'm lucky, I can catch, the end of a game in the West Coast. I'd love to have more content, during the week, because I might jump in there just to watch some highlights or whatever. But I'm not really thinking about, let me go to, Apple TV to look at the highlights or, you know what I'm saying? There's just nothing to attract you like during the week.
The interesting thing, and I don't understand why they do this, but the highlights are also on YouTube. And I saw when the first week or two, they were not on YouTube. And, oh, man, the internet was mad. Why aren't they on YouTube? Blah, 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 blah. And I actually look at it from the other perspective as, why would you put it on YouTube when you want people to go to the Apple? I know it helps with a bigger footprint of an audience. I guess it's smart, but it does, I think, in some ways diminish, having to go to Apple TV. But it's funny is they wanted to have a destination time. All games are at 7:30, and I like that. But I guess in some ways it can bite you because, like you said, they're not staggered in any way. So you just do it like what I do. I'll have like 3 games maybe out of the week that I kind of want to see, and I just won't look at scores. And so, I'll watch one today, I'll watch another one tomorrow, and things like that. I'll watch the games later on.
Right. It's kind of hard for me because I'm on Twitter a lot. I think I'm Twitter more than all the rest of social medias. And people are talking about the scores. They're talking about the other teams that are playing.
I won't look.
One of the teams.
I won't look.
No, really, dude, I'm not that
look.
disciplined. I want to see like LAFC games. I think they're impressive. I think that's a team to beat this year. Seattle, I might catch a game of theirs. Those are probably the 2 teams that I like watching. I just like the way they play, and but otherwise, there's nothing that really makes me want to watch anything other than Inter Miami.
Back to the Miami FC thing, Christopher Harris is saying, actually, currently, Bleacher Report and YouTube are not going to stream the Miami FC versus Inter game, and then continues that U.S. Soccer and Warner Brothers Discovery are not showing every game. And if somebody would know, it's Christopher Harris. You got to go to World Soccer Talk. He probably has an article on this. If not, maybe he will soon. But more than likely, he already does. That's his specialty, is TV rights and things like that on worldsoccertalk.com. And that's where you should go and get that kind of information. But the thing with the time that the games are, that's fixable. So this is it's an experiment. It's year one. This is what they're doing, and next year they could change it if they feel like the feedback is that I would prefer a more staggered time. You know what I did like is the first several weeks of the season. I think maybe the first 6 weeks, because I thought this week was the first time it didn't have it. But I remember there was a 4 p.m. game. So for the first several weeks of the league, there was one 4 p.m. game. And I would start watching that before driving to Drive Pink and watching our 7:30 game. So I did enjoy at least having one game live earlier in the day.
Yeah.
So
that's something I would have liked too.
Yeah, Esteban is saying, yes, we need MLS to spread the games, not only Saturdays and some weekdays. There will be some weekdays, but the thing is, nobody likes weekday games. The players don't like it, and so they're trying to get away from it. They only have them there generally because of, trying to squeeze as many games into the season. Richard Greenberg is saying, wasn't that 4 p.m. game on Fox? Maybe, but it was also on Apple TV. So I don't watch Fox. I don't have Fox. So I don't have access to that.
I like Estevandito is saying he wants to bring Marcelo Balboa in as a coach.
He's a commentator.
Yeah.
Almendares 15 says Marcelo Bielsa. Is he available?
Interesting. Yeah, he must be. Marcelo Bielsa would be good.
I don't know. Doesn't have MLS experience. I like coaches with MLS experience. Yeah. But at the end of the day, that's the kind of coach that this team will go for. They're not going to go and they're not going to bring in somebody like they would not do what, say, Columbus did. I don't think our team would ever hire away a successful MLS coach from another team. They want bigger, right? They want the Bielsas, that kind of a coach. I think, whereas Columbus saw what Wilfred Nancy was doing up in in Montreal and said, "That's our guy." He comes to Columbus, and guess what? He's doing it again in Columbus. He's doing a good job. But our ownership, for whatever reason, they see these big lights. It's no different than them wanting Messi. They want these big names, even in the coaching. Right. And then it doesn't work out, and you end up with Diego Alonso or Phil Neville, because Diego was like their fourth or fifth, pick. Choice.
Yeah, but he went on to take Uruguay to the World Cup, and they did. They went to the second round. So I guess they didn't do that bad. Yeah,
but when he was coaching here, none of us were happy with him here either. Granted, he was working with Tubby's players, and we later found out that, that's a major part of the problem. But I remember questioning his substitutions, making them super late in games, So, he wasn't the answer either. Should he have maybe been given a little more time? Probably. But, it didn't happen.
I think... Yeah, you're right, and I think he was the one. He got one player, and that was Pizarro. That was him bringing him in.
All right, Doofster is saying Phil was England's women's soccer manager. He came because he is Beck's friend, right? I wanted River Plate Gallardo. Everybody did. A lot of people wanted Gallardo. He was he was definitely a popular name. Richard Greenberg says Jesse Marsh is available. Yeah. He was supposed to be getting the job. Or he was interviewing for the job for what, Leicester or something like that. But that didn't happen. So, but he's not ready to come back to MLS. That's the thing. He still has European dreams. So I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe he'll, if the opportunity comes, he'll take one. He probably just wants to keep working.
Esteban says, Peter. No, it's not showing up. It says, Peter, Marcelo Balboa coached a Monarchs high school team in 2012. The Monarchs. Yeah, in my neighborhood is a Monarch High. Is he talking about the Coconut Creek High School team? Did he coach here in my neighborhood? I don't know. Anyways, Ed, I think the end result is I think most of us feel like maybe it's time to get a new coach. But at the end of the day, I think Neville has at least two. Maybe. You know what? I think they give him at least until the chance of say what, June, July. I think he gets a couple more months maybe, and then if the trend is the same, he's out of here. Because I keep wondering that we keep talking about wanting Messi. Does Messi want to come to a team that just fired their coach, a team that's a mess?
Yeah, and would he? Well, I think Neville's a big enough name. Where I think you would say, all right, I'll be under Coach Neville.
Yeah, but does he want to be under Phil in the temporary coach, placeholder coach, whoever that may be, because we fired Neville, for example.
Right.
Franco is saying he gives him to the end of May. All right, you might be right. If we can't win a game in May, then maybe he's gone. Anyways, everybody, if you made it this far in the video, put your comments in the chat after this video is posted. Let's keep the conversation going. Who would you put? Do you want Phil Neville out? And I'm assuming most of you do. And two, who would you put in his place then? Who would you bring? Yeah. So
actually, put the comment in the YouTube comments.
Video. Yeah, once this video is posted. Yeah.
Because that'll we'll be able to check those out better, and we'll give you our feedback and stuff like that.
Next week,
Peter, what are your thoughts? Houston.
I don't know, but we could talk about that next week because there's no game, so we got all next week to talk about Houston.
All right, well,
so stay tuned for Houston talk next week. Luckily, their best player got a red card.
Try to get some guests.
Yes, let's do that. Let's get someone to talk to from Houston, and it should be a lot of fun next week when we do this again. Everybody, thanks so much for watching. You guys in the chat are amazing. You're fun. And Ed has something else to say.
Guys, I was going to do the Spanish show following this right now. Unfortunately, we had, our little doggy passed away, so right now I got to, deal with that a little bit. So, but I will be back this same time, 9 p.m., with the Spanish show next week. So, and, we'll be talking about the last game and, the feature game with Houston. So stay tuned for that next Monday, 9 p.m. en Espanol. And, of course, Sunday, Peter
right Brown, here. We'll be back next Sunday right here. Back on normal schedule, no holidays. And actually, I will be a single man next Sunday. So the wife and daughter will be in Tampa going to see Taylor Swift next Saturday, and so next weekend is I'm home alone. So
party at Peters.
Yeah, no. All right, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you next week.